One of the reasons the internet has succeeded is the openness. In fact, that's the main reason. Sometimes when I talk in public, I will say, who remembers Prodigy? And Prodigy was an old service done by IBM. It was relatively popular. Who remembers CompuServe? What happened to them? Who thinks that the internet would have gone anywhere if it had been owned by a company? And that's one of the major factors in the internet becoming ubiquitous, is that it is not owned by a company, it is a co-op. The reason it is able to be a co-op is that the internet itself is nothing more than the standards which make the internet work. It's not the wires, it's not the computers. We can replace those and it will still be the internet. In fact, they're getting replaced every day. So it is the standards. Now, those standards were a really good piece of engineering that were done, part of it by Vince Cerf and others in the US, some of it with American Defense Department money, but it was all published and made open. It was openly licensed so that anybody could implement it under any conditions they chose. That's utterly crucial. That's not the same as open source, but it's got a lot in parallel with open source and open data. Now, a lot of the early software to run on the internet, and in fact, a lot of the software that still makes the internet work is open source. The Apache web server, for example, is pretty much BSD licensed. I mean, it's an open source thing. Everybody can get it and tweak it. A lot of the rest of the subject, the bind, the name server, which runs pretty much the whole thing. There is a huge amount of open source software totally necessary to the internet. In a way, closed source software is almost an aberration out there. So that's the way I see it sometimes, is that there is this great ocean of open source and there's islands of closed stuff around the place. That's been really important in the development of the internet because it's meant that people can just keep developing it and keep tweaking it and keep implementing new stuff. And the ability to implement new stuff is what has kept the internet growing and rolling out to everybody.